Just to introduce myself, my name is Jeff Dolan. I'm the Bureau Commander of Operations for the City of Middletown Police Department, also a Public Information Officer. I want to welcome you all to the City of Middletown here today. We are here to discuss Operation Wipeout, which took place yesterday. We have a bunch of people up here who are going to speak. It's going to begin with Chief John Iwanciw, and that's E-W-A-N-C-I-W is the spelling. He's going to be followed up by Mayor Joe DiStefano, then District Attorney David Hoovler, who's going to discuss the theories behind the case, and then Sheriff Carl Du Bois. We also are joined up here by representatives from the New York State Police, the FBI Safe Street Task Force, and we have a member of the Common Council in the audience as well. So I'll turn it over to Chief Iwanciw.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming out this afternoon. Yesterday was a momentous day, not only for the City of Middletown, but also for the family of Corey White. As we saw the culmination of a year-long homicide investigation that brought together resources from federal, state, local level that resulted in the indictments and arrest of more than 20 men and women responsible for multiple serious crimes within this community, to include the murder of 19-year-old Corey White Jr. on August 17, 2017. It is my belief that our residents should rest a little bit more comfortably in their beds tonight, knowing that so many dangerous individuals and their illicit drugs have been taken off of our streets. Middletown is a safe community with a high quality of life, and operations like yesterday's Operation Wipeout ensure that people who intentionally break the law and endanger the lives of others will be held strictly accountable for their actions. Before I go any further, I would like to take a moment to thank the family of Corey White, specifically Corey's father, Corey White Sr., and Corey's mother, Emily Rivera, who is with us here today in the audience, for their patience and underlying support over the last year. I know that you two have had a difficult and painful road up to this point, and that things took much longer than you had expected, but through it all, you stayed strong, you put your faith in us, and I think now we're finally getting you some closure on your son's death that you so clearly deserve. Your journey may be far from over, but we're confident that we have the people who are responsible for the murder of Corey, and the justice will be carried out against them. So I believe the best thing for me to do right now is to go into some of the details about the events that led up to Operation Wipeout, and where we are and why we are here today. On August 17, 2017, 19-year-old Middletown resident Corey White Jr. was shot and killed as he stood in front of 17 Wallkill Avenue in the City of Middletown. This incident set off a long and complex homicide investigation, resulting in the takedown of multiple major players in what was revealed to be a rival street gangs that were operating two separate narcotics enterprises in and around the City of Middletown. These two gangs were the Cokeway Boys and the Guap Gang. Corey White was found to be a member of the Guap Gang, and three individuals he was standing with on the night of August 17th were all major players. You can see on the organizational charts that Christopher Anderson, Darius Monroe, both of whom were present for the homicide, have been arrested and charged because of their association to narcotics activities that were undertaken by the Guap Gang. James Baker and Elijah Underwood and two other individuals present at the scene ended up being arrested for separate violent offenses. James Baker for several counts of armed robbery, and Elijah Underwood for attempted murder stemming from a shooting that took place in the town of Wallkill earlier this year. Early on in this investigation, we realized that we were dealing with individuals who were dangerous and had a reckless disregard for human life. We had the homicide of Corey White, which we had developed information on that. It was the result of a dispute that took place between a high-level Cokeway gang member and Corey White. My primary concern was that things were only going to escalate as retaliation became a motivating factor for the Guap Gang and Cokeway Boys. This is when our agency sought the assistance of our law enforcement partners that you see here with me today. We have an excellent working relationship with the New York State Police, the Orange County Sheriff's Office, the Orange County District Attorney's Office, the FBI Safe Streets Task Force, the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and the United States Attorney's Office. We talked and they listened. Then they committed to going after the individuals responsible for these crimes, together ensuring that the violence would end. It turns out that prior to this investigation, the Guap gang was already on the department's radar, and they were the subject of a federal investigation being conducted by the FBI Safe Streets Task Force, where we have a full-time police detective assigned. The FBI Safe Streets Task Force worked closely with our narcotics unit, the Orange County District Attorney's Office, and others to develop the necessary and probable cause to support a charge of conspiracy to engage in narcotics operation. The investigation paralleled the investigation into Corey White's homicide, and an offender list was compiled. As it turned out, the Cokeway boys were running a busy narcotics enterprise on Linden Avenue in the city of Middletown. You can see on the organizational chart, 13 separate members of Cokeway boys were charged because of their involvement in the organization. 2 members of Cokeway were charged with murder, Tramel Mormon and Jawan Dolson, and 4 individuals, to include Tramel Mormon and Jawan Dolson, in addition to Isaiah Dolson and Tejano Lopez, were additionally charged with conspiracy to commit murder, the murder of Corey White. And that brings us to where we are right now. In a moment, I'm going to turn things over to Mayor DeStefano, but before I do, I want to personally recognize the work of my personnel in bringing this investigation to a successful close. Detective Fred Slanovic, the lead investigator of the homicide case, dedicated hundreds of hours to this investigation, working side by side with members of the state police, the Safe Streets Task Force, the DA's office, and anyone else necessary to get the job done. The other members of the detective division, led by Detective Sergeant Jason Jennings, also did an outstanding job running down leads and pursuing the case forward. And finally, our narcotics unit, led by Sergeant Ronald Magzamin, played a pivotal role in developing information and substantiating the allegations against those individuals buying and selling narcotics here in the city of Middletown. Collectively, all of these individuals worked tirelessly to bring these individuals to justice. They have my sincere thanks and appreciation for a job well done. Moving forward, this community has my promise that we will stop at nothing to ensure their safety and security. If you want to buy and sell drugs or commit acts of violence against others, the city of Middletown is not the place to do it. We will find you, we will hold you responsible. Thank you again to all of our partners, and I will now turn it over to Mayor DeStefano.
Thank you, Chief. And I think they were wonderful comments and very appropriate for the occasion. My message is basically to the family of Corey and to our community. This is the beginning of the healing process, the beginning of the closure process, hopefully, for the family as you go through, this next period. But as a community, we stand with you. We stand with any victim of a violent crime. But as a community, we also recognize the fantastic work of our police chief and Detective Slanovic and the members of the Middletown Police Department, and the commitment of resources that were made, and also the partnership with the Orange County District Attorney, State Police, the FBI, Sheriff Du Bois, and other agencies. The chief touched on our involvement with the FBI Safe Streets Task Force, and we're very committed to that program. And we're also involved in other programs. The county is becoming high-tech, and the City of Middletown Police Department is very much involved in this high-tech crime-fighting mechanisms. So we're going to continue to do that, and I think those who are looking to do bad things in this city need to take heed of the chief's message, is that we believe it's going to be the wrong place for you to do. We have a responsibility to the families to make things right. We also have a responsibility to our quality of life here in our community. And I want to thank the Common Council. Alderman Massey is here representing the Common Council for appropriating the necessary monies that are used to fight crime. Sometimes these things, when they linger on, they just go by the wayside. But we're very committed to supporting the Middletown Police Department, to supporting Chief Awanchu in all efforts of all law enforcement agencies to not only deter this type of activity, but when it does happen in and around the Middletown area, that we are prepared to respond. And I think our presence here today demonstrates that. So thank you all for all you've done to bring this thing to a closure. And I will now turn it over to Lieutenant Tholen to introduce the next speaker. Thank you.
Next speaker is going to be District Attorney David Hoovler. Again, he's going to discuss the theory behind the case and the investigation.
Thank you. First, I would be remiss without thanking the City of Middletown Police Department, our federal partners, the FBI, as well as ATF, the county sheriff, and countless others that assisted us with this case. What this case really says is, number one, no community is immune from the scourge of drugs. And what this shows is anywhere that you have organized drug trafficking, you will have gangs and you will have violence. And that is a constant no matter where we are in our country. This case, unprecedented in Orange County. At the very time we are here talking today about what's happening on the state side, there is an entire other case that's occurring on the federal side. The Coke Wave or the Coke Wave boys are being prosecuted in state court. The Guap side are being prosecuted in federal court. It's one of the first times that we've coordinated this type of effort to occur at the same time, and I think it's something that you'll see more of in the future, not only in Orange County but around the area. I think it sort of sets the standard, the level of cooperation that's happened for the area, and it was a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Cocaine, heroin.
Cocaine, heroin.
Yeah, in the grand scale of the
We have
operation.
about, what is it, Mayor, about 25,000 people, 27,000?
20.
I'm sorry?
28.
28,000, okay. So you're saying it was significant given we have 28,000?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, at this point, we're going to close down the press conference. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I see Maria. Boy, I saw Steve's X-rays.
Use it.
The Desmond Penn.
Hey, Phil, thanks for
I'm Sarah with
That's how we got here in the first place.
Mr. Hoover,
Yes.
the governor yesterday signed a bill for commission on prosecutorial. It's really important.
How are you doing, sir? Hank, I think that all DAs for better oversight if you're doing things the right way. And making sure that we I think this bill is misguided. I think it's kind of a retribution for the DAs and the Orland Commission. I think the Attorney General indicated that it's unconstitutional because it violates separation of powers, and it might even have a chilling effect on prosecutors, local DAs going after political corruption cases and others. So when the Attorney General has that type of opinion, it shows that there's problems with the bill. I also think that the bill is very poorly crafted and it excludes the Attorney General's office, most interestingly, as a prosecutorial function. So all those things being said, I think that it's unconstitutional, and I know the District Attorneys Association in the state of New York fully intends to litigate the matter, and I believe that it will be every district attorney in the state of New York will probably join in that litigation.
of a long journey, so.
You're welcome.
I wish justice, I want them to pay for what they did to my son. Everyone can say my son was perfect, we can see it, but no one has the right to say my son was perfect.
When I say absolutely.
No, yeah, I mean, I knew he affiliated himself with everything. I mean, he spoke to both sides. He didn't say never once, he spoke to both sides. I have pictures of both sides in my home, co-played boys and all that. So, you know, what he did, once he left us that night, was wasn't perfect, but he was for my son. No one had that experience.
I just wanted to double something. This woman here is she knows everything.
To be honest with you, I'd like to see him get the max. The max is 25 to life, nothing less, to be honest. Because at least they're still breathing, they can still visit, you know, I honestly.
Come over to my office.
Yeah, sorry.
By taking pictures.
Honestly,
You know what?
heartbreaking. It shows I thought they were, that hurt as a mother. I say I just want them to put what they did. It was young. You made that choice of being quiet, picking up that gun, so then you should pay for your consequences. For your decision. Thank you very much. Unbelievable. You're welcome.
Oh.